You can throw a line with it, pull lines in towards you.
My name is Jimmy Reyes. Welcome to my channel, where I share tips, techniques on both traditional and digital comic book illustration.
Well, hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video I want to talk to you guys about the 10 custom brushes that I created for comic book inking. Often I'm asked, what type of brush are you using? How are you getting that type of line work? Well, today I'm going to show you guys the 10 brushes that I've created specifically for inking comic books. Well, alright, let's start the demonstration. I want to work digitally to take advantage of the digital inking process, but I still want to provide traditional looking ink. I still want an organic look. I created a 10 brush set, and the reason that I only created 10 brushes is because that as a comic book inker, you really don't need a lot of brushes. I have seen brush sets that have 250 in the brush set and more, and I'm thinking that might be because of the type of art that they're doing. They may want to have different type of brush strokes, but for comic books, when you're inking, you can vary that line weight with just one tool. You know, one tool inked about 90% of this page that you see here. You know, sharp, crisp lines or what you know is best, I think, over Jim Lee's work, and it's very clean line work. So I use my quill brush to create that, still trying to achieve a organic look to it. Whenever I did any type of splatter effects and things like that, a lot of that is used with just the spray brush that comes standard inside Clip Studio Paint. So to ink this entire page here, I used 3 different brushes. I did use my quill, I did use a dry brush, and I did use that spray can, that splatter stuff within Clip Studio Paint. So rarely do I go above 4 brushes. You know, that's if I'm going to use my scratch knife effect, or if I want to throw in a little more rough type of paint look in there, or ink look. Generally, I ink with only 3 brushes at the most, and some of the time it's even just 2 brushes. I do use the Kolinsky Sable often when I am inking hair to get the type of like feathered line in there. And they're great tools and great brushes. I want to show you some of the brushes here. This is the 10 brush set that I have created. I have the quill, the Kolinsky Sable to give a brush effect. I also have Chiseled Edge brushes, which give the Chiseled Edge multi-liner look. A technical pen, a multi-liner itself, or a fine liner, whatever you prefer calling it. 2 scratch knives, because I used to use scratch knives to cut into the Bristol board, giving this sort of scratched, etched look inside of the ink to scratch through the ink, exposing the Bristol board underneath, and I now can recreate that with this rough edge. The dry brush, because Jim Lee had asked for a dry brush effect, he had a notation on this illustration that said dry brush, so I went ahead and did a dry brush effect there. I have a chunky spray brush which will spray chunky stuff, and I'll actually demonstrate each one of these tools and these brushes. But I wanted to first show you the type of line work that can be achieved with this brush set. Everything in here was inked with a tool from the brush set, except the droplets from the spray can. That's the only thing that's standard inside of Clip Studio Paint. But if you decide that you want to buy this 10 brush set, you already have the tool that I use to splatter and spray all the black or the white on top of the black. So I have this piece here from Victor Bogdanovic that I am currently inking over right now, and it's a great page, Aquaman, and I'm actually inking this with my 10 brush set. Previously, the 10 brush set was only available inside of the digital inking kit, and the digital inking kit is a bundle kit that allows you to transition from traditional inks to digital, and it provides you with everything that you need to ink a comic book page professionally. It also comes with all the settings, it comes with the page sizes and everything formatted for professional printed pages. And the digital inking kit is great for someone who just wants to have everything bundled together, ready to go, and you can start inking comic pages straight out of the box. It even comes with sample pencil art. So the quill here can achieve quite a bit of different type of line work. It can give you kind of a flatter, stiffer line, a little ink blobs like you would get when you're inking traditionally. It responds, you know, just like my 102 that I used to use, and it was something that I was so comfortable with that I really wanted something like that for digital inking. I wanted to be able to recreate that. So you can see the little fades, different type of little line work. And to give you an idea of what each tool does, now the curl quill can give me a wide range of line work that I can achieve. You know, so you can do all kinds of different little things with it, depending on what you're looking for. You know, if you want to add little lines and little blobs to it, you can throw a line with it, pull lines in towards you. We can do diamond lines. So it just depends on what you're looking for. The Kolinsky Sable is to act more like a brush. So if you're doing hair and you want to do little things that you see from hair, so it just depends on the type of line work that you're looking for. It can give you a nice wide range of thick to thin. So you can create little effects for hair, different type of lines. It just really depends on what type of line work you really want. I do have my Chiseled Edge, which is great for giving you that little square chiseled edge. This one here is at a 60-degree angle. This one's my favorite over here at the 160 because of the way I throw my line. I prefer to have a angled at 160. Now, to get the weight variation to this, because I don't have it set to weight variation, I use the back bracket to thin out that brush, but it gives me the chiseled edge lines that I often use inside of a speed line, or I use them when I'm rendering as well. A technical pen is going to give you, you know, if you want really technical type of lines, and it's designed to give you that exact same kind of bounce line. So if you wanted to ink something technically, and generally I would use a ruler with it, straight edge. You know, it's just going to give you a straight flat line. Some of you guys are used to multi-liners or fine liners, and those generally can have that little blob thing at the end of it. But so some people like doing their rendering with it, where you could do these little type of Travis Charest type of rendering. You know, just depends on the type of look you're looking for. Scratch blades are great for me. I like them when I use transparencies, and then it gives you this kind of scratch look, and you can also use weight variations to it. So if you want to do it kind of like a feathered line, but I like it because I can go really fast through it, create little scratches with it. You can do great little scratch effects for rain. You can use it in rock. You can use it when there's an explosion. And there's two different sets here. Just depends on the edge of the type of look that you're going for. Generally, knife number 3 right there is the one that I created. Maybe about 4 or 5 of these, but knife number 3 is the one that I would generally use the most. And it's number 8 in the set. A dry brush. This is the exact same dry brush that I used when I inked that Jim Lee piece to get that type of dry effect. And it's weight variation and pressure also helps. The lighter you go, less ink that is on there. And this is the Jim Lee piece right here that I ink the dry brush with right over here, using that exact same dry brush right there. And coming back to the 10 brush set, here's a chunky spray brush that I like to use when I do little splatter stuff with it. I don't always do them in black. I even cut into the black. I can even just stamp it into one of this little pattern here, and it creates a little texture and breaks up the pattern for me. So it kind of creates this neat little texture type of effect. I've done that before. You can cut into, you know, splatter, and say there's more white right there, and then it just chunks upward, splattering off this white. And say you want it to look like a splatter effect, and you got your scratch knife to add to those little, to the motion of it there. This 10 brush set is really all that you need to get started inking comic book pages. Along the way, I mean, you can actually go and tweak these. Inside of the digital inking kit, I show how I built the brush. So then that'll allow you to go in and adjust and manipulate the brushes to be able to go through and adjust the brush specifically for your style of inking. So if you're interested in learning how to make custom brushes, then the digital inking kit's for you. I decided to make the 10 brush set available so that you could pick and choose what you need from the digital inking kit. You can go through and pick just these custom brushes. If you just need the custom brushes, there's digital files. And on my Gumroad page at gumroad.com/Jimmy Reyes Art, you can find free gifts there where I do have a free brush. You can try out the Kolinsky Sable to get an idea if you like that type of brush. I give free files. I give a free ink example. You can zoom in and take a look at my ink lines and see how things were done and kind of reverse engineer it, and hopefully maybe that'll help you when you're inking inside of Clip Studio Paint. You can also see how I set up my page. And that's all a free gift for simply visiting my Gumroad page. But this here is the 10 brush set, and the 10 brush set is at $10. It's $1 a brush. You know, so if you're serious about comic book inking and you seriously want to invest in it, then I would recommend, you know, getting the 10 brush set or the digital inking kit. It is a bit of an investment, but hey, this is for your talent and possibly a future career. So it just depends on how much you wanting to invest in yourself. We can take a look again at some of the work here that I have done inside of Clip Studio Paint. And we can see some of the chunky spray that I've done here to get a water effect. You can see more splatter effects. Crow quill here. And I did use the Kolinsky Sable to ink hair. What I do is I go to the Kolinsky Sable because the Kolinsky Sable gives me the type of line work that I'm looking for. So I like it because it's a kind of a soft feel, you know. Well, all right, guys, thanks so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully I've answered the questions. You know, you guys have been asking and wondering what brush set am I using? How do I get this type of line work? Well, it's in that 10 brush set. It's also in the technique that I use. And I thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. See you guys in the next video. And don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter.